Hey everybody, welcome to my first Twitch live stream. Hopefully this is working okay for everybody. Today we're going to be playing a game called Control, and this is for being played on the PlayStation 4, and this is a relatively new game that's coming out that's kind of a first-person shooter, or say a third-person shooter with a lot of telekinetic and psychic capabilities within it. And so today we're going to try to see how this, how this plays out, and try to see if everybody can see if it works for everybody. Let's see. So this is the very beginning of the game. We're in a nice looking lobby. Graphics are pretty good here. Basic tutorials here about left analog stick to move, right analog stick to move the camera. So pretty standard controls. Little alerts here, it looks like, to something that you can pick up. So it kind of tells you from a distance that there's something interactive there. And that switches to a little square that you can press now to pick something up. So now, right one, collectibles. So nothing exciting there. So far, pretty standard third-person game. That door opened right as I got to it, which was interesting.
This seal. I saw it a long time ago. I keep seeing it in my dreams.
So it looks like I'm gathering some kind of information here. I don't know how useful any of that is, so it's not clear. Now, pressing L3 here to sprint is a fairly common mechanic. I know a lot of games do use it, but just be aware as a game designer that L3 is really, really hard to use. A lot of, especially more casual players, to press down on your left analog stick while you're also pushing forward actually does take a little bit of skill, a little bit of practice. So if that's going to be a really important mechanic to you, make sure that you're understanding, if that's something you're, especially a more casual player needs to do or can do, and test that one out, because it definitely a lot of players do struggle with that one.
Hiding in plain sight.
So this is kind of weird because the glass is so clear here. It's not totally clear that there's like a window there. And I guess the curtain being up adds some variance, but I also feel like maybe there's not a window there, and I want to like duck underneath it or something. I would have probably added just a little bit of something on that glass to make it clear that it was glass, because it kind of felt like I wanted to go through there. And then same thing here, like it's not totally clear. There's glass just because it's such a clear glass. So that might have been something that would have benefited from just a little bit of distortion or a little bit of something artistically to make them. It's like that has a little bit of reflection on it there. So, but be careful as a game designer again of like what's luring people over. Let's with this thing being lit up and stuff, you feel like you want to get something there out of it, and it's not. So I guess we're just following this around and into this room here. Again, just collecting stuff, but it feels like a lot of these things are just kind of not. This is also a little bit strange here from a UI interface design perspective. You can only use the R1, L1 here to move the cursor from, like, right now I'm under loadout, and then assets, missions, collectibles. I guess because they maybe wanted to use the left analog stick to navigate the menu below, but it is a little bit strange that I can't use my left analog stick to move between those. So not a deal breaker, but just something to be aware of. And then down here I can use my left analog stick. So it's also take note that they were they're marking these things with these little triangles that are red as well to highlight stuff that's new. And that's a really nice touch. You want to make sure that your users know how and where and when to find things, especially when you get a long list of stuff and you're not sure kind of what's new, what you've read and you haven't read, things like that. So just little things like that are kind of important. So yeah, nothing. This is kind of the good and bad of like these types of games. Is it's hard. On one hand, you don't want to have everything be that you can pick up everything, because you don't want to just like have to go into a room and just like hunt and peck every little thing to see what's interactive. But in the same hand, showing exactly what's interactive also has that double edge of like that the rest of the world kind of becomes uninteresting. And so that's a delicate balance of like how to make sure players are focused on what they need to find, and what they somebody's saying that the glass is more evident on PC. So thanks for that. Yeah, this could be a PlayStation 4 problem, and it's not bad, but just getting little design hints to try and little things to understand. And that's actually a really good point to bring up, is that when you're designing across games for multiple platforms, something that could be really important to you as a game designer, on one particular platform might function a little bit differently on another platform. And so, technically or whatever. And so you need to be careful about cross-platform design sometimes. If something is really, really subtle and the technology doesn't quite work the same way, then it could sort of mess you up.
Excuse me.
So I don't know if this is creepy or scary. Okay, we're going into a cutscene here.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks.
Yeah, some really good reflections and really good detail in their visuals in this game. I'm really impressed. And this is kind of this is an interesting thing just to see again the high quality here of how realistic these characters are getting, and it just kind of shows why our jobs as game developers are just getting harder and harder, you know, in that just the amount of time, you know, if any of you are artists, just the amount of time, just this one character, just to model that character, to animate him, to do motion capture, to put his voice in there, you know, all that kind of stuff is just a phenomenal, you know, amount of work, and to get the quality as high as it is. And so it's definitely sometimes not the most sustainable
I know what you're thinking.
business.
There's
So
an
this is a little
ex-murderer
closet
around.
here.
That's him.
So nothing of interest. Now I got turned around. I think I was supposed to be going this direction. I got a little backwards there. So just, but then this feels like where I entered. So I guess I did a loop. And then looks like this is now open. So I guess the janitor came down and
And the poster. I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since. Will you help?
thanks, Darren. See, that's you now. Yep. The yeah, each machine, each platform's a little different, you know, in their stuff. And yeah, this Darren's commenting that the soft shadows on PS4 are definitely a little crude, a little rough. So again, some of that's just visual fidelity, and you know, we're here today to talk about game design and to really kind of, you know, try to dissect, you know, as a game designer, especially as a new game designer. You know, a lot of my students, I'm working with them to try to transition them from being a game player to a game designer, right? And there's a big difference in trying to understand, you know, what's fun and really understand what a gameplay system is, and not just play it for fun, you know, and really how do you analyze these things, and how do you really, you know, play these things, and so that's one of these tricks. And so when we're going to try and deconstruct a lot of these games, I'm kind of talking through these. I'm going to be playing games that these are the first time I've played any of these games, so you're kind of getting my raw reactions and my stupid, you know, idiocracy of running around things, being lost, and you know, and being confused and things. But that's sometimes the best reaction you want, because as a game designer, quite often we get used to our own games. Our test team and even our development team get used to our own game, and so very often we get this jaded, biased view of how hard our game is, or what's good or what's bad. And so okay, it looks like that's locked, but that wasn't totally clear there. Yeah, I guess I would have given that a little bit more of a negative reaction. As I hold down the X, yeah, it has a bit of a audio cue and a little bit of a flash, but probably would have been better off to giving me a little bit better of a negative reaction there. So I'm assuming that that's locked or requires a code key or something, you know, to get in there. But that could have, the interface on that could have used just a little bit more control. Now we heard a weird noise.
Shit.
Whoops, looks like the director killed himself.
You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really?
At least now I got a gun. Yeah, Darren, I think, yeah, you're right. The yellow light must have mean it was locked, but that was something that wasn't clear and wasn't taught to the player and could have been called out a little bit better.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
Look at this place. Where am I?
All right, this is definitely strange and a little weird, which is good. Now I notice that I have a little white dot there. You'll see in the middle of my screen that's tracking it. So I'm assuming that that's my targeting cursor, for my weapon. It's not clear. I don't have a weapon in my hand, but at least for main targeting purposes of where I'm looking at. So I'm assuming this might be like a tutorial level. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. It's definitely very surreal. Yeah, so it looks like we just entered so they tried to start the game. So this is a little design lesson to be aware of, as you may or may not know that, if you started the game off in a tutorial and you have a more hardcore tutorial lesson like this, it gets a little not the most interesting, way to start a game, right? And so you want to try to hook the player in those first few minutes. And so you'll see that quite often you need to start off. This is a challenge where the player doesn't have a lot of skill yet. The player doesn't know how to play yet, but he really, but you need to have something that's kind of fun, interesting, intriguing, something that's going to keep him playing. And in the same hand, this idea of like a traditional tutorial like this, where we go into a mode or we go into something or we're just playing this long tutorial, is also maybe a little outdated or a little bit hard to do. Do you teach along the way, or do you teach, this? It's a tough question to answer. But yeah, this idea of these pre-canned tutorials is always a little bit tricky, because they're one hand they're effective at teaching the player all their stuff, but they kind of break the world and break the immersion, even though they're trying to that was kind of a cool effect with them disintegrating there. But it's definitely not the most compelling thing in the world to just jump me into a big tutorial. And I don't know if I'm supposed to do a leap of faith over to that. Oops.
The same gun.
Uh-huh. That was not clear. So that's another thing with cameras you got to be really careful of, is that oh, there it goes. So they were blocking me until until I got this. But keep in mind that my camera was down low. When I was off here, the gun was higher up than I could see on my camera. So that was not a clear thing. Like, I did not know that I needed to jump up on that. I guess just because there was nowhere else to go. And then when I did, then I saw the gun and knew what to do. But that was off camera. So I would have made sure that the player knew that camera was there, or that the gun was there. And so so it looks like a nice targeting reticle there, as well as an ammo. So it looks like that lower bar maybe is ammo. But then it recharged that time. So maybe it's more of an energy weapon, that's got unlimited ammo. So it looks like they're going to kind of force me to kill these guys before I can progress. The reticle does change colors, which is nice when it's over a target. Yeah, Darren. Yeah, needs a little something just to give you a little bit of hints, I guess, for what to do. Interesting effect on the ground. It's almost. Yeah, so it looks like my weapon slowly recharges, but it limits how fast I can shoot, you know, and how well I can shoot there. But kind of nice effect, the damage on the ground. Now there's these little blue things. I can't tell if those are oh, uh-oh. Wait, which way? Oh crap. Good thing they're not very, they play about at my skill level there, not very accurate. So yeah, so the weapon does recharge its over time, which is nice. So you have to kind of control how fast you can fire, because the amount of damage per minute, so to speak, that you're doing is controlled. Interesting little. It looks like I'm the director now.
Something's coming. This threat.
Yeah, definitely a stormtrooper.
Duty as director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here.
Okay, so that was their little tutorial. So again, I won't get off on a big rant on tutorials like that. I'm personally not a huge fan of these kind of standalone big tutorials. I understand the need to, teach people the basics. We learned how to run, we learned how to jump, climb and shoot our gun and face a couple enemies that were there, and we didn't have to worry about dying and damage and that kind of stuff. So it is effective and it works, but it also kind of again breaks the immersion, and not every story and thing can have an easy way to justify like having these types of things. So let's toggle the map. Okay, so there we go. So looks like a fairly big office here. So I'm assuming the rooms with the question marks are the unknown rooms, or places I need to get to explore. So oh, okay, that's pretty creepy. It's like they're hanging by their necks. But yeah, that red light and stuff. So yeah, the game's doing well at being atmospheric, and trippy and creepy.
You can't let this happen.
Lots of pretty fast cuts from in-game to pre-rendered cutscenes and back.
You can't let this happen. You can't let this happen. You stopped it.
Yeah, that did look really good, Darren.
Thank you. That was horror.
Uh-oh.
Get the fuck away.
Yeah. You also notice that the targeting reticle, the faster I shoot, here just. But you see, the faster I shoot, the wider that square, that diagonal square gets, and so that's showing my accuracy. Basically, goes from a default accuracy to the faster I shoot, the less accurate the gun gets. And so again, within a combat system, this one weapon has a bunch of things that matter. It looks like accuracy stays the same when I'm running. Some guns in some games might change even as I'm moving or in different positions. And things like that. So, but how accurate you are and your ammunition, your rate of fire, the amount of damage you do. There's so many factors, when you're doing even just a simple gun game that you got to really be kind of understanding. It's a lot of people think that combat's just like, oh, you got a gun, you push a button to pull the trigger and it shoots, and how complicated is that design? But there's so many just little nuances from how you reload, or how the gun's ammunition works and how much ammunition you have. Especially with a lot of games, you don't have unlimited ammo. Oh, what was that? There was something weird there. No. So yeah, Darren, you might be right. The yellow light right there might be the indicator that it's locked, but yellow isn't usually a good visual indicator for locked or stop. I would have probably put red or something like that, or at least the first time popped up even a little tutorial message that just kind of tells you it's locked, find a card key or just something. I'll look up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I didn't even see that. So again, bad camera, if you're looking here and not looking up, or user error here. But actually, it's a funny aside story. It's something in game design that is really important. This is a thing about human psychology that you'll know and find out that people naturally don't look up. We're not even talking in game right now. We're talking just in general, like playing hide and seek as a kid or things like that. So many times you like climb up into a tree, climb up high, and people, especially when they're moving fast, have a tendency to scan the ground in front of you because you don't want to trip, you don't want to fall. And so you tend to kind of look out ahead and you scan down. But most of the time, most people don't look up as they're playing or as they're moving, just even in real world. And so quite often we'll miss things that are up high. And so we have to be aware of that as a game designer. If we hide things that are up high like that, players may or may not actually find those things. And so just kind of be aware of that sometimes, especially if you got a camera thing, again, I can be focused on this and just not understand it, so it's a good good thing. Okay. And so there's the green light. Now it's kind of weird though too, is like that door was closed and yeah, I walked up to it and it just opened. And so it seems like an awful lot of work to have like this big, like, why would you have it's a lock, unlock here for a security office, yet there's no lock or unlock card key type thing here like you would have here. So there's a disconnect between this one has the lock, that one doesn't, but they both have the thing over the door. And then the door just auto swung open, which is a little strange. It's okay. I guess it saves me from pressing a button, but it was, I don't know, that felt awkward to me. Was that the coffee maker, Darren? Oh. Yeah, there's weird stuff like that. Like what just happened to the coffee maker? Yeah, who messed with the coffee maker? But yeah, there seems to be, they're trying to kind of creep us out. It looks like they're trying to do. I'd say they're doing a good job. Like they're making little weird, surreal things happen in the world. So if you're really paying attention, like even these boxes and the scattering and stuff, that was all kind of new. And those, the bodies hanging, the red light stuff when I first came out here, and there's just a lot of stuff that it looks like they're trying to do to kind of creep us out. I still don't know why these little things are. they're kind of bothering me because I feel like those would be like collectibles or things that are interactive, and why they stick around and why they're there, I'm not totally sure. Darren's coming out with the particles and the lights. Yeah, so there's a nice little visual effect. Again, you know, just nice little things there that are nice little effect there. Yeah, a lot of really good visuals. I really love the visuals in this game. They did do a good job. Executive affairs. Okay, so I found a new room. I'm just on the edge of.
The hotline. Secure line of communication. Guide us.
These little silhouette character things are a little trippy.
The hotline, says the dead man.
But,
Okay.
yeah, again, just like weird. What's up with the coffee makers here? Good thing I don't like coffee. Oh. That was, ooh, crap. Game over, man. Game over. See? Pretty bad at this. Oh, that's right. Hopefully not too many people are watching me make a fool of myself. Okay. Back to wherever I was. I'll try not to die.
Secure line of communication. Guide us. Reach the hotline.
The hotline, says the dead man.
That's where that guy came from. I like the destruction there on that cart, how it kind of blew up and then the papers all kind of went flying on it. That was a really nice touch. I love that effect on the characters, that very kind of surreal effect there on the characters. Like they're, oh crap. Shoot him while he's down. But it just makes me wonder, like, how much of them, you know, like, uh-oh. And then for their health system, it looks like I just heal over time. So if I pull back and retreat, you can see the health damage system. Okay, the bottom left corner does have my health system as that. But I'm not seeing, I thought it was recharging to a point, but it's not looking like I'm healing automatically now. So, collectibles, missions. All right, so I'm not healing. Okay, so the question is there some health around? I haven't seen anything. Oh, now I'm, okay, that was weird. So I moved a little bit, now I'm healing. So I thought before that I was healing too, but I must have been in a position where I wasn't healing over time or something like that. So in a lot of games, their health and healing system happens if you pull out of combat, you get away from combat, then you'll start to heal either fully or slowly over time, like games like Halo and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why I destroyed the coffee pots. But it looks like I only healed maybe 10-20%, and it doesn't look like it's continuing to heal. So it looks like my total max health is still pretty low, right now. The red effect went away, telling me I was getting damaged, which is a nice touch and it's handy. But I'm not sure. So I must have to find something to. Oh, health boost right there. I just picked up something, it looks like. So it looks like I got a health boost from a pickup. Gosh, all these people, I thought they were hanging by a rope, but it looks like they're just floating again in kind of midair, and they're really trippy. A little scary. So again, like health systems and things like that are an integral part to a combat system, and how much health I can heal, how much I can heal, and when I can heal, and how I heal, and all those types of things are really important in these kinds of games, and do become kind of a critical thing to try to kind of figure out, because now even though I look like I'm maybe up to half health or somewhere in that, probably not quite. I'm more nervous and I'm scared because I'm not healing. I don't have full health, and so so I need to be a little bit more careful overall.
Reminder: if you experience an unanticipated building shift, follow these simple steps. 1.
Building
Search
shifts.
the room for any altered items or objects of power. 2. Carry the altered item or object of power to the nearest safe room. 3. Wait for Bureau staff to find you and the object.
So it looks like
There are no altered items or objects of power in the vicinity.
So it looks like there's a lot of, or they're anticipating or having a lot of these types of events happening. So whatever is happening here, these supernatural events or whatever, it sounds like this bureau, this is not the FBI. There's definitely some sort of psychic thing going on here that's not normal. Interesting, they got typewriters. Versus computers. So it makes you wonder like what the era of this is, because I look like I'm kind of dressed fairly modern. That gun is futuristic. But yet they've got the typewriters in here. So again, just little hints about the world of the IP, and just stuff that kind of differentiates it, I guess. But just little something. That's it for that room. Oh, yeah, I keep seeing those little. You guys saw that? There's like a little rat or something. Thing. So it wasn't me just seeing things. There is little things scampering around. Another thing to kind of be aware of as a game designer, this is a differentiation between, say, a more traditional like FPS type shooter and an RPG. Not that there's a hard line or whatever that you have to follow here, but kind of like how much exploration do you want them to do? How much searching? Like, do they keep the action going? Do they just kind of keep moving forward? Or is there central executive? Okay. you know, or do you want them to? Now I've healed a lot more, which is strange. I don't know how or why. So that was kind of weird. Now I'm up to like
Hissing
3/4
sound
health,
tried to
and
invade me
I didn't
earlier.
see that going up.
The hiss burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? All right, it's our enemy.
But again, like,
That babble's
okay, what?
contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
Did I just turn the radio on? Okay. I don't know what that's all about. Is that to draw enemies over here, like lure people that get attracted to the radio? That was a bit of a strange feature. Oh, that's a fun bug. Yay! I now have a shield. Woohoo! I wonder if I can wear this throughout the game. Keep enemies away from me, so now they can't melee me anymore. It's like I think this is a feature. This is not a bug. I'm definitely driving on this dress. It looks like it's gonna stick with me for a while. It's definitely got the buggy jitters. That's not me and having too much coffee, because the coffee machines are a little bit weirded out. Now I get to like destroy everything more easily as I'm running through it. Oh! Almost lost it. Woohoo! Yay! Off with that dress. Well, this is another thing, you know, in a game design, you know, and level creation perspective that's hard, is that, you know, when you're playing, you know, or sorry, when you're building these kinds of games, it gets hard because you can see, like, you know, everything's got a lot of physics, right? So all this stuff, this table is not like a static thing, right? Like, look at how much destruction I was just able to do, you know, just running into this one thing, and I'm getting a little nauseous here. But, you know, so this makes the creation of this stuff a lot harder. So depending on the tools and your editor and stuff like that, you can't anymore just sort of like go in and import an object, you know, into, say, if you're using Unity or whatever, and then just place it and say, well, that's all you got to do. You know, you do need to be aware that, like, a lot of these things need to be set up with physics, or they have to have other types of interactions, other kinds of things there. And so the way and how we create levels these days, because there's such a higher level of fidelity and interactions quite often with them, that it's making our tools and our pipelines and our process in the development of these things a lot harder. And so it's just something to be aware of if you're wanting to be a level designer, or if you are a level designer, and stuff, that you kind of have to ask the questions of, like, well, how does this stuff all kind of get put in the game, and how do we set it up for, like, it might have you know, destruction on it or other types of things, and so, like, just like that, boom, you know, it looks great, but now there's a destructible state, you know, that it has to go through at some levels, you know, and, you know, and how much of that do we allow, you know, and that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty amazing, actually, if you think about, like, how that was able to break. So that's pretty sophisticated technology, except for some of that object clipping bugs there. The you know, but overall, I have to say that was it's pretty good technology. I mean, the stuff's very highly destructible. So Darren's saying shoot in the middle of the table, I guess. Not too bad. But again, like, just how the physics worked on that, and how these items were, you know, it's not just like this whole table. Like in the past, this whole table would have been like one huge, um, big object, you know, and it might have destroyed as a desk or as a total entity, but to be able to like blow a desk apart like to that level, to that fine tune, is pretty cool, you know. And it's not necessarily, I mean, it's becoming more and more common, I think, but you know, but I think it's you know, it's pretty interesting just to kind of see, you know, what the level of the technology is in these games these days, because that definitely is, you know, was pretty sophisticated technology, you know, a few years ago, and still is. Nice big door here. You know, like we're collecting like a bunch of this stuff, but I still feel like this stuff doesn't necessarily have like, what does this stuff mean, you know? And that, I think that's the hard part, is like, you know, as a player, like, am I supposed to come in here and read this stuff? Am I supposed to, does these things matter? You know, and yes, they call it, you know, collectibles, but it just, you know, maybe this is all just, you know, story, backstory, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, we have to kind of like understand, you know, we're throwing all this stuff, all these things you can read, you know, and even this kind of thing, you know, this could take somebody a couple minutes to read, and then they're not sure, like, am I supposed to know this information or what? Do I need to remember this for later on? You know, and just stuff like this, like, again, what, you know, why do these things matter?
Reminder.
Okay, so it's recorded even those. Oh wait, I had something new under loadout. At least I thought I did. Huh. That was weird. Oh wait. Personal mods. Okay. Well, somehow I picked up a personal mod. That was that thing I thought I picked up, which I thought just gave me some health, but it looks like it was actual mod that's a health boost, so 17% more health. So, but that was definitely not clear, and that would have been definitely something I would have treated as probably a tutorial and tried to like teach people or train them on you know, so you know, so that's one of those things where, you know, if somebody is needing something like that, it definitely would have been worth having a little tutorial message pop up and train them like how to go and equip it and stuff like that, versus just finding it, you know, randomly. All right, let's keep the party going here. So I'm assuming this is the safe room they talked about, but I have no idea what just happened. Okay, so I got an asset there, but that was not clear again. I didn't understand what I picked up. I just thought maybe something happened. But again, these must be for later on. But again, wasn't super clear there. So don't know. A bit strange. So it looks like this was some kind of a safe room. Yeah, that door opening was a nice effect, Aaron. Let's see here. Where to go next? Let's go straight back up to that. That's the right way. Nope, to the right. Okay, Central Executive Office. Yeah. It's hard to see. Ooh, that's really trippy and surreal. Federal Bureau of something. Looks like off to the right there's a room there. It's really dark. It looks like a set of stairs down, but that was really strange. I think that was a bug. Oh crap. Oh, double crap, triple crap. Oh, yeah, that suckied. I'm just about dead. Okay, that was a pretty bad setup on their part. One, I didn't see all those security guards, so you see an empty room. You don't know that you're going to basically get trapped, jumping down into there, and basically get your, get your life lost, for no reason. And so, and especially because I couldn't take the stairs down or up, and they threw a lot of guys at me there. Whereas traditionally, if you have a higher vantage point, and you're looking down over something, you want them to kind of see, like, hey, here's the situation you're getting into. Here's something that's really going to be dangerous, and so you can kind of be prepared. And maybe I could sit and snipe from above, or at least kind of know and build a strategy there. But when you just jump the player, when they're when you just kind of jump the player,
everything in this place.
It doesn't feel fair, right? So
it's our enemy.
I'm looking at this room. It looks completely and totally empty, and it looks totally safe. There's zero warning
makes you hum it over and over.
that this is going to be broken. And like I said, there is a bug here. I mean, I definitely cannot move forward right there. The darkness of that room's a little off. A weird design, but I don't feel like jumping down in there again. Well, I guess I have 100% health now. Maybe if I just play better, then it's not going to be a problem. But I still felt like I was getting jumped by a whole lot of guys. I don't know if I can. Yeah, so they all just like jump in here and. Oh crap. Oh. Ah! I'm using grenades on me. Oh. Gosh, that was fast. Yeah, they dropped from the ceilings. Oh, good idea, Darren. Yeah, this is definitely not. So maybe it's all those bodies that are floating in the air, kind of like these guys are. But again, I would expect consistency as a player and knowing like, okay, these guys don't drop from the ceiling, so I'm not worried about them. And I don't remember other guys necessarily dropping from the ceiling.
Burrowing
but
into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Right. It's our enemy.
Oh, okay. Well, if anything, Darren, at least I was able to trigger the trap. I still take damage pretty fast in this game, so, and I'm a pretty sucky player. Yeah, so at least I get the high ground there, but that was definitely not clear. I mean, that is an advantage, but it seems to be I'm taking 4 or 5 shots before I'm dying. So I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Maybe this is just a lack of skill. I'm definitely not the best game player in the world, so that could be. It's true. Unlimited lives are nice, but it is frustrating because now as a player I don't know what to do. Like, do I just keep trying this and be bashing my head against it? And like, is this battle even possible to win if I'm just better? And maybe it is, or is this a battle that because these maps are kind of big and open? Like, is this something maybe I'm supposed to come back to at a later time? And so it's not totally clear. Although maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna just play around. Sorry if I'm gonna bore everybody, but it's better than me just dying a billion times. But I want to see if I follow this to the right and around. Just want to see if I can get to like a new area. Oh, it's interesting. So this must be a secret door here that I open up later. Is there a book to pull? Where's the book? Come on, movies are tossed to find the book to pull. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Okay, so that's. You go down left and see if I can go up higher. Nope, see that's locked. All right, so it looks like they are going to force us through. Those both dead-ended there. So it looks like they are going to force us through that central executive battle. So I'm just got to man up and. Yippee.
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy. That babble's
No idea what that radio
contagious.
is for.
It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
Just trying to see if there was anything I missed. Okay. But it's inconsistent why some guys drop in. This game is called Control. And it's a relatively new game, Ryan. So I think they just released an expansion pack for it, but I think this one came out last year. So we're just in the first. Oh crap! Interesting little effect. I mean, they threw all that paper and stuff around, but also it's interesting that there was no papers around, so it was kind of an artificial. Yeah, it was an Epic Games exclusive, I think. I'm playing it on PlayStation 4, so I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it doesn't mean that it's not, but I think Epic published this one. Kind of a supernatural shooter. I'm trying to be a little more careful now in my. Ah! Run away! It's not too bad AI though. I mean, that's pretty good and pretty intelligent when they're throwing grenades up. Take that. Yep, good arm on him. Yeah, I agree. That's another point. Like from a game design perspective, is hard. So playing on this PlayStation 4 controller, right? A lot of games, you know, Halo and stuff like that, learned early on that when you're playing a shooter on a console versus PC mount, you know, PC, you know, there's definitely a pretty significant amount of controls difference. And so you do need to be aware of, you know, the design of a combat system on a console really does need to be adapted. And it's not a very trivial problem. I think it's a more solved problem than it was, say, 10 or 20 years ago. But Halo, you know, on consoles, after GoldenEye and a few others were kind of one of the really big console shooters. And one of the things that made them so good was, I know that the Bungie team had about, you know, had 2 or 3 guys for over a year just working on the controls and just the ability of like how to target a guy. You know, there's little subtle things about aiming and snap twos and other stuff that they really worked heavily on to really get it feeling right. And that's definitely a problem with a lot of games, is they just, you know, they think, oh, it's just, again, simple. You know, how hard I move the mouse around, you know, or I move the joystick like a mouse, and there's nothing else, you know, to it. But in reality, there actually is, you know, a lot more quite often to it. So you do have to sort of be aware of that. Yeah, Darren, that was definitely kind of a seminal thing on aim assist from Halo. But again, the cost of that was literally several man years of work. It was not a trivial thing to. Anybody else gonna jump out? See, guys spawning again. So again, in my opinion, a little bit bad design in that, you know, I think it's safe, and then it's not. Dang, these guys got some. Oh, fuck me. Sorry. Never mind. Yeah, that's really, really hard. But I thought it was safe up top, and you know, so I jumped down and again got jumped again, and so not fun for the player. Now I'm frustrated, you know, and in all honesty, like in a normal gaming environment, I probably would put the game down now, you know, and stuff. It's, you know, some players will push through and keep playing these things over and over and over again and bashing their head, and kind of trying to solve the puzzle, but you shouldn't have to do that. You need to be able to give your players enough information to sort of know when they're going to get into something or not, and not get into a point where, like, I think it's safe, boom, nope, I got attacked again. Oh, I think it's safe, now I get attacked again. And, you know, and that level of kind of surprise without foreshadowing and stuff, to me personally, is not a good, not good design. So you do need to be really careful about that and be very aware of that.
Into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? All right.
But yeah, those guys that jumped me when I jumped down below were a much heavier armored unit. And so the problem I'm facing is that the amount of damage per second I'm doing before my gun needs to kind of recharge or reload is not very good. And so I'm definitely going to have to run and gun with those guys a lot more. Keep moving. But I don't know. This is, again, where information is problematic. I don't know who jumped me, or I don't know how many guys jumped me and who's jumped me. So then when I jump down in there, yeah, Silent Hill is bad as well. You know, so then, you know, I don't know if I run around where it's safe, right? Because right now I don't see any enemies. You know, they kind of teleport in, and And so it's kind of dangerous, you know, because then if I run off to the left, maybe I'm going to run into 2 more guys, or, you know, so that lack of information is definitely really tricky for me. So let's try to get a strategy here of, but whereas I know that some of those heavier guys did drop down into here, did I somehow not trigger them this time? It looked like this was where that door was. Yep. So there seems to be a lot of doors and things with mystery, and like, okay, do I come down here now to trigger? Yeah. See, now I'm out of ammo. I gotta. Yeah, maybe the whole melee thing is. Oh, okay, bad idea. Yeah, there's no cover system that I'm aware of. I mean, obviously I can hide behind something as cover, but there's no official cover system on this that I can see. So I can't use a, you know, Rainbow Six Vegas or, you know, type cover system. So one more time. I mean, we're figuring it out, and you can see the challenges that a player can have, you know, in playing a game, right? And playing your game. And this is where you have to decide as a game designer, like, okay, how hard am I going to make this? Especially this is the first time, you know, through, and I'm barely kind of into this game, you know, and how many times have I replayed it?
Sound that tried to invade me
and
earlier.
you know, just kind of how difficult do you really want to make it, right? And so
in this place is the
I'm fine if I shoot that guy a little bit more there, then do a little bit more damage on him. You know, pull back, let my ammo recharge, move forward again. Where'd they go? All right. I think there's one more, but maybe not. Oh, there is. Okay. And I know that one more guy comes in that's this guy. I need to recharge now. And I'm just, like, barely, this is almost a sub-boss. Like, I keep running out of ammo, and I gotta wait. You know, now there's almost a bug going on here where he's not moving. And so maybe because I'm far enough back, I'd actually consider that a bug, and I'm gonna take this win, you know, yeehaw.
Cleanse the control point.
Oh, great.
What does that mean? Help me fix it.
I don't know. I thought there was one more enemy in here, one of the lesser guys. Anyways, so that enemy there, the really tough guy that was there, that was definitely a bug. And so you saw in the AI, maybe in the pathfinding bug because I was standing behind something, or because I hadn't initiated far enough forward, you know, that, you know, maybe, you know, he just didn't recognize me or whatever that case was. And like I said, I'll take the win. But it definitely, There definitely was a bug there. He was not moving, you know. This is strange. So what's with all these blocks? It's kind of an interesting way of level design. They had all these like weird, surreal.
You did it. We did it.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, so
Are you
there's
with us? With the Bureau? Are you so
speak to the
safe?
voice of the safe room intercom. But okay, I'm assuming this is the. So it totally changed the level there, which is cool because you get a lot of reuse in your level design. And so if you can find ways like this to get kind of a bang for your buck with a bunch of cheap cubes and stuff, and then you can open or closed. That's locked. But where is the safe room? Let's go. All right, is this the safe room? Undefined reading. So yeah, lots of weird stuff to collect around here that not all that interesting. And it's interesting too. I mean, just putting in a big room like this, like the boardroom, maybe it'll come back to be something that's important, but it just seems like a lot of work for something that's a dead end. But maybe it'll have. Okay, so now the stairs are more open. So I definitely have freer access to the level, or at least it seems like I do. Like bathroom complaint. I mean, it's just like, what are all these things? It's kind of annoying, actually. Oh. Health recovery. Okay. And this interface is not. Energy boost. But. So I can switch the orders, but it's. I don't know. Not totally sure what's going on there. Why I can't equip something else. Yeah, I agree, Darren. Like this whole personal mod thing definitely could have been done better. Yeah, assets, things again. Like who cares? So I don't know. A little rough around the edges. But now I need the safe room. I'm not sure if that's the safe room. So this comes back to so that little on the top left corner next to the welcome to the oldest house, which is I'm assuming the quest name. There's a yellow triangle, you know, with a square, solid square kind of symbol in it. Now that same thing shows under central executive room. So I'm assuming that's where this mission objective is. but I'm not sure where the safe room is. So maybe it's just that it's here. Huh. I'm not totally sure. Oh, wait. Ah. Safe
I
room.
can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
The feeling's mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie? Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting. I should have lied.
Oh, shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this
Hiss?
that works. Somehow the hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
Ah,
I found his body. And the gun. Do I tell her it looked like a suicide?
the service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted around.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown before you became the new director? How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet. A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable.
Hey everyone, is the audio mix with the game audio and my voice okay? Are you guys hearing
Jesse,
everything
I have
adequately?
a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother?
Okay,
Dylan?
great.
Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do
Nice.
first.
Yeah, I'm glad the quality's
If you
good.
can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible, our options are very different.
Emily Pope. I don't know her, but I like her already. She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me.
Do you find, is my picture-in-picture quality okay? Because I'm just
I
using a
can't trust
webcam
it.
for that. I didn't use my
Or rather,
nice
do.
camera, but I figured it was kind of small.
Yes,
So I figured the quality was
I can
probably
try.
adequate, although I'm not happy with my lighting and my
I'm speaking for you, of course. We can
red
try
in the
it
background I think needs to get adjusted, but little tweaks. Okay, good.
You with me? We did it before. Push the hiss out.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure the quality of it, you know, you're seeing in your stream versus versus what I'm seeing on my screen. It seems pretty good on my screen, but again, I don't know how the quality coming through Twitch and everything else was going to be. So cleanse the hiss corrupted agent.
It didn't work. The hiss has burrowed too deep. Ripping it out rips them apart.
So there's an interesting, just little side note. So again, top left corner, that little yellow triangular area signifying the mission objective. It said to, like on that last one, to cleanse the purge agent or whatever it was, his agent. But the icon over them was just the standard interact icon. There was never that yellow triangle over the person in the game, and that would have been a nice little touch to have known like what they were. If I'm looking out over here, like okay, even speak with Emily Pope, like okay, where is she? And there's nothing in game that's kind of telling me, directionally where she's at, right? So in some games, you might have something that would be like a floating icon that might kind of tell me, in general, which direction is she at? Because I thought she was just here a minute ago. But see, I think that's her. No? Oh, but see, now I just had to get close to her. So whereas like the previous person I had to do it, that would have benefited from having I think that little yellow icon over her head, so that I would have recognized that she was my mission objective,
I'll risk it.
right?
Listen, the Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown, Ordinary, 17 years ago. The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time.
That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen mentions of an Altered World event case dealing with Ordinary. You were at Ground Zero as a child? It was one of the big ones, and before my time. And very classified. I can try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but
A lot of cutscenes in this game.
he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs, the Hadron Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us. Or a few of us.
Also, the quality in this is not as good. I guess this was an in-game cutscene using in-game assets versus a pre-rendered
Whatever he is.
asset. But if you look back or think back to that very first kind of cutscene we had with the janitor and how super hyper realistic and good that janitor's face was, like that was exponentially better than like what this model is. And not that she's bad, but there definitely is a disconnect in the quality. I think I would have personally chosen something that had been a little bit more consistent across the board and done
Where is that? It's kept in the communications
and
department through the
would
mail.
have
It's part of the sector,
considered
so
more of a
access to
consistency
people
across
don't
it, maybe
fix.
skip the pre-rendered
We'll get the
stuff,
door
or
open for
I don't
you.
know, or just use the same
Okay.
quality models or something.
That's my
But
next stop.
it's hard when you get some that are really high
That's
quality and some are
Tomasi's
kind of,
department.
I'd consider
He's
this
the head of
mid quality.
I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
They call me the director. But that's not me. I'm not a director type. I'm not a leader. Why am I here? I think you already know. Yes, I came for my brother, but there are other reasons too. I said I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them. I'm not looking for proof. This is already it. More than enough. No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
Yeah, you could be right there. It's hard to say if it seemed like this game did have a lot to do with NVIDIA. Like there was a bunch of controls and a bunch of things, advertising and marketing material and things like that. They're heavily targeting that.
The door to the comms department is
this
just outside
game.
the
So
boardroom back in the lobby.
I believe it
They
was
should
even
got
bundled
it.
in with some of the RTX cards, if I
Follow the
remember
signs in
right.
the mailroom. You can get to the hotline
So
containment
yeah,
chamber
you could be
from
right there. I think there could be.
Good luck, Jesse. See you back here once you have
This
the
may have
hotline.
been more of a NVIDIA
Thanks, Emily.
co-sponsoring this whole thing, and there's a little tech demo, you know, which is probably why the beginning of the game looked amazing. And yeah,
The hotline should be in the communications department.
I don't know why the cutscene ended. Okay, now it's introducing me to the actually scripted, you know,
Where
system
did this
for
come from?
getting information.
I'm
So
not
that's
sure.
why it's weird. The
It said
cutscene
this
ended, and
here
then
when you entered.
kind of went back,
Did
and
you
it's like,
see
why am I
anything like
talking
that
to her
outside
again?
before you came in?
Or why do I need to talk to her again? It
No.
wasn't totally clear.
No, just inside.
But they were transitioning from a
This sort of
cutscene of
says
information
internet.
to a now
It's
me
the
being
oldest house is a
interactive.
sprawling complex with
But again,
openings
fairly
to
kind of old
other
school.
places
Not
as
that there's
well.
anything wrong with
I
that,
don't
but
even know
just
where to
kind
start
of
looking.
traditional dialogue system.
Back
I
in the
choose one
context,
thing,
it's
now I
good
gotta
news. The
sit here for an
lockdown
hour
holds.
and
Yes,
watch
escaping the
a bunch of
building would be the
cutscenes.
end. Pretty shitty world out there, if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the Hiss to destroy it.
But they spend a lot of money doing this, you know, compared to a text-only based system that, say, a BioWare game or something might have.
You mentioned the oldest house. What is it?
This building, the bureau headquarters, the oldest
But
house.
the problem is we're
I
trained
should
kind of as
realize.
players a
You've
lot, or
seen
even as
it.
designers.
Transcends
We're
its
trained
physical limits.
I've
to play these
been to New
things
York a few times.
and go through every dialogue
How
option
did I
because we
notice
don't
the
know,
place?
you know, traditionally like
It's an
every
attribute
line of
the building.
dialogue
This is a
either
place
it's just
that
some
you're-
random information
the
and may or may
Ubisoft
not
does
help,
attention
or it
to
often
details.
will
We try to
set
find
up
out
something
what
new within the
Which is
game
perfect
design.
for us.
So, you know, it might trigger,
Work we
you know,
do
like a new
here
quest,
is
or it might trigger
essential,
like a new
but
object, or it might trigger them
unstable.
selling me something, or it
Bureau
might trigger,
prefers not to be honest.
you know,
And
that
they
kind
need
of
strong
stuff.
walls
And
to make sure
so,
nothing gets out.
So
you know,
without you,
so
I
we
never
often
would've found the
have to
front
go
door.
through all of these dialogue options because we're not
Okay.
sure what's going to lead to what. And so it is nice here. They are showing what's gray. In other words, what I've seen, what I haven't. But, you know, and here's a case where I've got 5 options and they're fairly long
I keep hearing
dialogue
him in
trees
my
and
head.
cutscenes, you know,
Is he a
and
ghost?
so I feel like I'm obligated to kind of go through these
I doubt we're
and
talking about a ghost in the traditional
and kind of
sense,
see what
but an echo
um,
maybe. See,
you know,
he was killed by the service weapon, your gun. Maybe
see
it's
what
his
the options
final
are.
thoughts recorded by the
And I
balloon.
do have the
You know,
option of
like
skipping them, I
Deep
guess.
Space Probe, but that's just a hypothesis on my part. I need the gun to research it.
But
But you better hold on to that given the circumstances.
I think I will. Yeah. Can you tell me what an object of power is exactly? This is all, well, new to me.
Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So, objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed a link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the pure utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this? Got it. Thanks.
one last one.
So HRA stop you from becoming Hiss?
It seems that way. I mean, I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. And each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Does the
timing
FCC
seems
approve these things?
suspicious.
Does the energy they're putting
I
out,
thought
you
that
know,
too.
or does the
Dr.
FDA need to
Darling
approve these
usually likes
things?
to
Like,
unveil his latest
what's this
breakthrough in
big
big
device on our body
presentations.
messing with
With
us, and what's it
these,
doing to
he
us?
passed them out. Yeah, his behavior makes me wonder what exactly he knew.
All right, hooray! I'm done.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense of why they did that fancy boardroom over there, because I did come back to it. So. So here's an interesting dilemma or problem as a game designer again to be aware of. So I looked at my map and I saw this as a way to get down. I wanted to get to those question marks in that room above me, so I wanted to go there. But you know, in this particular case, now I'm going up against this wall, so I'm up on a second floor. This is a 2-story map, but you're trying to show this map through, you know, a 3-dimensional multi-floor space on a 2-dimensional map, and there's no way to change levels or change floors. And so right now I really should be, it looks like on floor 1 and it looks like I'm on floor 2. So, you know, the map was misleading. Not that it's the end of the world, but this is the problem of 3D game design, 3D spaces, you know, and that it often just can get confusing for navigation, maps, and then even things like AI, like the A-star algorithm stuff that's so common in pathfinding for a lot of games, is not very good at. I can't remember if I came in here or not, so I'll double check it. Not very good at like multi-level pathfinding sometimes. Not much is in here. Oh no, I'm gonna blow. Looks like this is the. And that's. So I'm noticing this effect here, in that little kind of eye ghosty sort of thing, and that does seem to be. I didn't notice it until just now. I'd seen it randomly and thought it was just sort of random, but it looks like that actually is a visual clue for where I need to be going to next. So I'll have to pay more attention to that in the future.
There it is again. Our welcome message.
Weapon mod. Ooh. Shadow recoil efficiency. All right. So once again, weird UI. Not totally sure. You can deconstruct it, but it says empty slot, but it's not. But the equip button is not, or equip on the bottom right corner is not available. So it says exclusive to Shatter, but I don't know what Shatter is. So that's what's kind of confusing. So I'm assuming maybe Shatter is the name of a weapon. So I'm not sure. I think there's a new mission as well. So it looks like I need to look for this telephone. Again, locked. I'm hoping or assuming those will be things that will unlock at some point. Otherwise, why bother having them? Uh-oh. So at least 2 guys there. Now this is better foreshadowing compared to the last setup, because now I know there's at least 2 guys there. I know kind of what to expect. Can't totally tell if I could shoot them through this glass though. But at least, you know, I've got some sense for wait for this guy to kind of arrive and then Okay, good. Wait for a minute and see if anybody else shows. See, this is one of those things where now I'm like paranoid about hanging bodies, and now like, do I have to identify like, are these guys security guards, and are they going to drop? And do I have to shoot them sooner? And a funky mechanic. Undefined reading. There's so much stuff that I just don't care about. Ammo efficiency. So now I can equip it. Oh wait, that's health recovery. Okay, so here's ammo efficiency. Now I can equip it. All right, hooray. So minus 5% cost per shot. But, you know, I've been playing this now for an hour and 40 minutes. You know, let's just say an hour and a half because I've been jabbering sometimes and stuff. But, you know, we still only have, you know, one gun. You know, we haven't really introduced a deeper combat system at all, things like that. Maybe that, you know, maybe they won't, but there's a point, again, in game design where you want to be kind of aware of, it's kind of trippy, of how often you're giving new things, and you know, and how good is that new thing going to be, and you know, just be aware of that we're kind of reaching a point where something new, in my opinion, kind of needs to happen. Like we need to be, you know, starting to give some new weapons. I mean, even in 20 or 30 minutes or whatever, just to give players some choice where I get to, you know, maybe choose between a pistol and a rifle or a shotgun, or, you know, give me a grenade, or just something that allows me to tactically and strategically play the game a little bit differently, you know, can be important. Because, yeah, I'm definitely... Oh. What to shoot? So again, they keep jumping it. You know, that seems to be the key for this game, is just guys just come in at random intervals and so gotta be careful of that if you're always jumping the player. Especially like those guys just like teleported in from over here. Like I was just there a minute ago and there was nothing there. Whoa, coffee machine. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a little scary and interesting and different. Oh, yeah. Maybe not. Want to go in there? Alright, I will avoid that place. Cool looking, but yeah, not worth going in there. Again, I can't figure out the health system fully. Like, there's times where I heal, there's times where I'm not, and okay, so it looks like I do have to go up there. At least this map does show where my objective is. Assuming. Okay, wrong direction. Dead letters. Oh, great. More guys hanging here. This is not looking fun. Correspondence. So, I'm assuming these guys are not enemies. I'm assuming these guys are at least. All right, let's. At least now we got a little bit of warning about. Oh crap. I don't know who's shooting at me exactly. It sounded like a shotgun or something was, or maybe it's a grenade. All right. Oh, I saw another guy. Maybe not. Yeah, see more. That guy's tough. Nope, headshotted him. That was lucky. They usually have pretty good reactions when they do get hit, so it does slow them down. That's another factor that's important in these combat designs is, you know, how does a guy react when he gets hit? Is he going to keep coming at me? Does he take a lot of, you know, does he take some damage? Does he get stunned? So on and so forth, and that can be, oof. I'm going to pull back a little bit and see if I do heal. Yeah, again, I can't figure out this health system. And some of this stuff's really dark. Like, I feel like there's an angle up here. It looks like there's like a stairway. Like, I want to get over to there. And I guess I have to go back down there the way the guys were coming at me, but it feels like there should be a ramp there. I'm afraid of getting jumped again because my health is so low. So now I'm like all scared and paranoid. Running through hoping to trigger the random enemies that will inevitably jump out to scare me and shoot me from behind. Oh, so those little blue things. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, see, I just now figured that out. So those little blue goalie things that I mentioned earlier in the game that I wasn't sure what they were, those are health pickups. And I should have correlated the color, but I didn't. It wasn't until just then that I realized that those things are my health power-ups. But I think earlier I wasn't picking them up because I had full health. And so to me, they weren't there and I wasn't picking them up. But again, that was not clear. And so, you know, was not a system that was taught, was not a system that was clear. I just thought they were kind of random artifacts, like all these little things, that's health. See? And I didn't pick that up until just now. But see now, like these don't pick up, well, because I'm at full health. But you know, interesting. So all right, well now I know how to heal. Oh, this is ways of cleaning off whatever this extra dimensional level design stuff is, and it's a great way of like reusing level design. So it's like changing the states, the state of each map, you know, basically. And so getting kind of locked. All right, so let me see if I can fast travel. Oh, there's a thing to know about using R3 for crouch. Again, that was not something they taught me. That's the first time I've seen anything about using R3 for crouching. That's interesting because I'm trying to use R3. Okay, so why can't I crouch? So I'm using R3. There's no crouch. I'm using L3 right now to try to run. Oh, sprint. There it is. Huh. Don't know why the crouch wasn't working. It shows this is a door, but I don't know if this is open though. Nope. It's weird that they've got that blocked off. They're going to make me go the long way around to bore me to death. Well, let's see here. This is the way I came in. This is where that one big battle was. I think I went in there already. Oh wait, no, it's locked. Right, left. No? Okay, so that's not it. To where the color's a little strange. Maybe that color is supposed to show the floor level, but the map color is the lighter gray, like where I'm at now, but then some levels are like a darker gray, which I think is the first floor versus second floor. And then maybe the lower floor is the even darker blackish thing where those question marks are now. But all right, so since I can't go through that way, find my way through. No way through there. There's that radio again. Probably he's the board audio guy that wanted to put some of his music in the game. Darren would know nothing about that. It's a little hard to navigate. Again, the multi-floor stuff is like, okay, that's dead ending, but I feel like I was in the cafeteria. So I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to probably come at it from the other direction. Should have kept moving forward versus backwards, I guess. Not done the fast teleport. But again, bad map design. So let's see here. So where have I not gone? Off to the left, maybe?
Just look at it.
I don't feel like watching that.
Storing a whopping 80 kilobytes. Stolen by our friends.
I go maybe partly up the stairs. I'm being navigationally challenged right now, trying to figure out where. No, not up that.
Communications.
Okay.
We're on the right track.
Oh, I totally missed that one. So that's the problem with navigation in 3D space, is just, you know, that you have to be careful, you know, and that it can be really, really easy for people to get disorientated and lost and, you know, and stuff, especially as you're exploring. And, you know, this is where level and map design is just so critical. And you know, some games might do it through, oh, there's a nice little foreshadow that something bad's about to happen. My gun's kind of trippy there when you look and zoom. It's made out of like little electromagnetic pieces. Okay, so obviously something bad there is happening. That little interactive cutscene foreshadowing that something dangerous is in there. A little scary. Great.
Object
My
of
controller's
power.
rumbling.
Looks like I
Oh,
missed
that's
the
not
last one.
good.
We need to cleanse it.
Need to cleanse it. How am I supposed to reach it? Am I supposed to shoot it, fight it, dodge it, avoid it? I have no idea. I'm gonna die here. But okay, so there is a cover system. They just didn't teach me till now about it. just running. Oh crap! I can't go that way. Okay. On the other side. Okay, so how am I supposed to get up there? Like maybe this way? Am I from above? I saw something there. Ooh. How do I interact with it? Ah, there it goes. Ooh, floppy disk. That's like 20 years ago.
It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like that channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in Bureau Seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
Okay, so R1. No, R1. All right. Woohoo! Finally something new. Almost 2 hours into the game. So R1 pick it up, and pretty powerful there. That's pretty cool. But it's about time. I mean, again, think about, you know, the player experience. That's interesting that it shattered the way it did. They really got a great physics system in this game. Really went above and beyond on like how their items can shatter and destruct. So kudos to them on that. But you know, again, we're 2 hours into a game that, you know, a typical single player game might be 10, 20 hours long. So even given the benefit of the doubt, if it was a 20-hour game, I'm still like 10% of the game. I only got my my second thing, you know. So you know, just be aware of that. You need to figure out how to dish things out. Now I'm tutorial again, so not quite sure. So now back to awkward tutorial. The cube thingamajig. Okay, great. All right. It is random. Oops. Oh, that very well. Oh, great. Gotta love that. Well, that's 5 p.m. I guess that game over was a sign that it's time to let you guys go back to your lives. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming out and watching me make a fool of myself playing today. And hope you guys enjoyed. And we will see you all next time.